Hello, my name is Dana, and I wrote a book called This Is Gonna Sound Weird. You can find it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and some other random websites on the internet. And I hope you purchase it. It's going to be great summer reading. It's sort of controversial, so it's thought-provoking, let's put it that way. So anyway, I'm new to this platform and I've decided maybe I'll just read some of the random chapters that I have, like maybe the first couple of minutes of them, just to give you a taste, so you can decide whether or not you want to get the book. Yeah. So anyway, I think this is chapter number 21, something like that. And I call it Angles on Angels. And I usually start off each chapter with like a quote. So here's my quote for this chapter. And it's from Richard Bach, the writer of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's a great, cute little book. It used to be really popular back in the 70s. Here's the quote. "You will begin to touch heaven, Jonathan, in the moment that you touch perfect speed. And that isn't flying 1,000 miles an hour or 1,000,000 or flying at the speed of light, because any number is a limit. And perfection doesn't have limits. Perfect speed, my son, is being there." So it was the beginning of the end for my first marriage. After another heated argument, I drove to my parents to stay for the night. I'd never done that before. They welcomed me, of course. We chatted briefly. It was late. Exhaustedly, I headed off to bed in what was once my bedroom. They were getting ready themselves. In the middle of the night, the noise of bodies bumping about in the hallway woke me up. I laid there and wondered what was happening. There was also the whooshing sound of birds' wings brushing up against the walls. They seemed to be abnormally huge. Growing up with birds, I was familiar with the sound wings make. It's very distinctive. This wasn't simply feathers, but the solidness of a big wing structure banging about. The clock on the table next to me said it was 2 a.m. This wasn't my parents. They went straight to bed right after I did. Two strange voices rose above the noise. I sensed immediately who was on the other side of the door, as if I could see them. "Why is she here? She's not supposed to be here. I thought you were in charge of her." "I can't control her. You try." In charge of me? At that moment, I knew exactly who they were. Angels. My eyes grew big. The energy in the room felt weird. It felt off. I wasn't supposed to be there? My parents would never say that. They were thrilled that I'd come home, even if it was under difficult circumstances. And they wouldn't bounce off the walls and talk right in front of the door either. Parents don't do that. Plus, it wasn't their voices. Nor do they have wings. To make sure, I brought it up in the morning. "Were you guys up late? I thought I heard you outside my door." They assured me that they had gone to bed as usual right after the news at 10:30. Their lives were very routine. You know, old people. Perhaps they might have confessed if I pressed. I asked if they heard a commotion in the hallway. Bewilderment came over their faces. They had no idea what I was talking about. My first conclusion had to be the correct one. Angels. If only I'd gotten out of bed to go open the door and see them. Could I have made it that far without them disappearing? It was interesting to eavesdrop on what they were saying, nothing more. It had passed quickly as it started. Fast forward about 10 years. My husband now and I had been arguing. An argument once again. He went off to sleep in the bedroom while I headed downstairs to sleep on the couch because I had to go to work at an early hour and wanted to be left alone to get some rest. I didn't want him coming downstairs to continue with our qualms. The thought came to me that I might need some help to make sure that this didn't happen. Who would have my back? Who would offer me protection at this hour? Heaven. And who better for this duty other than Archangel Michael? I began to pray. Closing my eyes, I imagined the bedroom with my husband laying down. I tried to feel it as deeply as I could. 4 angels taking their position in each corner of the room, including Michael. Boom, 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 boom. An otherworldly presence shook me. Something was happening. I gave my instructions. My husband is not to exit the room under any circumstance. If he even thought about heading my way, they were to make sure that he was met with great resistance. A calm washed over me. Feeling secure, I could now go and to get some undisturbed rest. Slipping away, I slept peacefully. How much time had passed, I can't say, but I was abruptly woken up by my husband. He pushed my body to rouse me. Dang it, why is he here? My first reaction was that my prayer had failed. But he was in a panic and crying. His distress was about something that had happened earlier. He was way more excited than that. He'd never been upset before. A previous argument that had faded away had been forgotten by both of us. Through his tears, he asked, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" What? Why? I asked. What happened? I was confused. I'm just going to leave it right there. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.